Hi book friends, I'm Erin and this is Erin Go Read and this is my Maui vlog. So I'm doing this intro and I'm going to kind of intersperse the book content in between the Maui content because I was trying to be in the moment while I was there. Also, it's really windy at the beach and like on mountains, and so it was really hard to kind of vlog and really talk about the books I was reading while I was there. So enjoy some Maui content, enjoy some bookish content. I read parts of 6 books during the time that I was in Maui, so quite a bit of Hawaii to see as well as some bookish content. So I was annoyingly close to finishing Affinity by Sarah Waters when I left. I think I had about 100 pages left. So I knew I was gonna finish it on the plane, and it was just like one extra book that I had to take, but I couldn't get it finished before I left. So Affinity by Sarah Waters. This is my second Sarah Waters. I first read The Fingersmith, which was 5 stars, absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, Affinity did not meet up to the Fingersmith standards, but I think it's kind of The Fingersmith is kind of accepted as her most well-loved book, so it's a hard standard. It's a very high standard to try to meet. Affinity, I would say like a 3.5 for me. Amazing writing, the mood, like the mood, the feeling of place and where you are in this like gritty 19th century London, largely set in the walls of a women's prison or the women's section of a prison, Millbank, I believe. Yeah, Millbank prison. Very much of just like a gritty, dark feeling, which I think is pretty common actually for Sarah Waters books from what I understand of the 2 that I've read so far. So this basically follows Margaret Pryor, who has, she's recovering from a suicide attempt. And so as part of her kind of getting back on her feet and taking care of herself, she's been, it's been recommended to her that she kind of like do something for others. And so she starts becoming a, what do they call it? A visitor, like a lady visitor to the women's prison. So try to bring some like joy, entertainment, companionship to some of the female inmates. And she becomes kind of enthralled with this spiritualist, Selena Dawes, who was imprisoned after a seance went wrong. I don't want to say like what happened, but something happened at a seance and she was imprisoned for it. And it's kind of about their budding relationship, and kind of, yeah, what takes place. That's what plot is, like what play takes place is stupid. Anyhow, it is told in a journal form, which took me a little while to get into. It is mostly, it's mostly Margaret's journal entries, and then we have brief bits of Selena Dawes's journal entries. Hers are really short. I really like the portions that took place in the prison, and what took me so long to get into this book, is probably took me 80 to 100 pages really to get into it, was the scenes set outside of the prison, just Margaret's like daily life, her home life. That part just really wasn't interesting to me. The parts where she was in the prison is where this book really shined. So it was good, but not great, but I'm glad that I have read another Sarah Waters. I'm in an arboretum on the Rotana as we speak. It's raining, can't tell. Having an amazing time, just really exploring. I'm really like fresh from the airport, just drove straight out here. Can't check in until 4 and it's only 1:30 right now. So I'm just killing time, having fun, just exploring. No real agenda, itinerary, just kind of go with the flow for right now. So I'm gonna continue on with my hike, and I'll check in with you later, probably from my condo, and give you some book content there. First time I tried to get into my room, I got lost, so we're gonna try again. We're gonna go left off the elevator. Check out my pad. My balcony. Can you hear the birds? They're so loud. Even last night after it was dark, I was walking around outside and the birds were just going crazy. So it's like 6:30 on, what day is it? Friday morning, my first wake up in Maui. And of course I woke up like an hour ago because I just wake up early. Even the room was pitch black and I still woke up at like 5:28. And so the sun is now just up enough that I can actually see the view. And I don't know what I'm doing today. I just heard about last night and then again this morning from my coach who used to live here. Just told me about this one hike that's like it's a much more challenging hike than a lot of the other ones. It's like 8 miles, 7 or 8 miles, and just much more challenging terrain with amazing views. But you need to get there between like 7 and 8 to get parking. It's 6:30. If I left right now, I'd get there at 7:30. So I might do that. I'm so indecisive. I don't want to I want to rest and relax and just go with the flow, but I also don't want to squander my time here and not get to do fun things. I know I have like so much time ahead of me. I don't know why I'm like so worried about it, but yeah, that's, I could totally do it this morning. Should I? Just have to get up and go. Let's do it. Well, I suppose this is typically an amazing view. I can hear the waves, but I'm just surrounded by marine layer. But it is still just gorgeous up here. My hair is not handling the humidity very well, but maybe, I don't know. It's not going to take me all that long to do this hike. I think it's like 4 miles out and back, or 8 miles total. So I don't think it's going to take me long enough for all of this to burn off for me to actually see this with a great view. It's kind of raining off and on. But I'm listening to Lucy Foley's The Guest List on audiobook. I just started it for my drive. And it's a closed circle mystery, a wedding on this little island. Woo, slip. It's muddy and slippery. There's a wedding taking place on this little island off the coast of Ireland, and somebody ends up dead. So we're kind of like, we know that happens, but then we're kind of going back to the time, like I think we're like the day before the wedding or something like that. And we're going back and forth between different character perspectives. I wonder if this is actually like is this a And Then There Were None retelling? It might be. So it's my second full day here in Maui, and it's 7:12. It's Saturday morning. I'm going to top off my water bottle here, and then I'm gonna drive about 45 minutes to go get donuts. So there's this place, Donuts Dynamite. So my coach used to live here in Maui, and so she's kind of giving me some things that I should do and recommendations and like really specific things, you know, that you're not going to find in a tourist guide. And so she told me about this place, Donuts Dynamite, and it's almost like craft donuts. And then sadly, she found out that they're actually closing. This is the last month, and so it's like I get to experience. So she's like, I'm so excited. Like, I'm so sad that she's closing, but I'm really excited that you get to experience this culinary delight. And I think she must have messaged the owner and let her know that I was coming. So anyway, I'm gonna go do that, and then I guess I'm gonna try. So I'm on the west, like west northwest kind of corner in Kanapali, and I haven't been to the east at all. There's still more of kind of like this western part along more of the northern edge that I haven't experienced, and so I might go over to the water over on that side. I might check out I think it's Paia or Pai. I keep wanting to say Paella. It's not Paella. I can't. There's so many vowels. The vowels throw me. But there's like this little town over there. It starts with the P. I might check that out and check out like some of the beaches over on that side, where initially the first day I just went over and did. So I'm talking like, if you know, I'm talking about like north of the Hana Highway. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Not much of a plan, just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I'm gonna get donuts and I'm gonna explore. That's basically the plan. Also, you would have seen a little reading sesh this morning while the sun was coming up. It's like I wake up and it's pitch black, but I know the ocean's there, and then when like first light comes and I can hear the waves and then finally get to see them, it's great. So I read for about 45 minutes this morning, and people we meet on vacation, really enjoying that. It's just really charming, this relationship between Poppy and Alex, this friendship relationship between the two of them, and it goes back and forth between like past trips that they had taken, and then this current trip that they're taking after something had happened 2 years ago, and we don't know that this thing, they were like a falling out that happened, and this is the first time that they're with each other after 2 years, and there's this awkwardness that's still kind of there, but we don't know what happened yet. So I imagine that's going to be revealed at some point. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying the ride. At first, I didn't really like Alex, the guy. He just seems like really stiff and very straight-laced, which normally I don't have a problem with straight-laced. Like, I need straight-laced. But his charm has definitely grown on me. So I'm enjoying them. If you're gonna be able to hear me or see this, but I'm looking at a turtle right now in the surf. It's kind of, I'll see it and then it goes away. I specifically came to this beach, this is Hoikipa Beach, because my coach who used to live here told me that this is a great place for sunset because the turtles come out. And so I'm like just getting settled and see a turtle right here, basically right in front of me in the surf. Although I lost eyes on it at the moment. Back in my hotel room, clean, sanitized and unsandified. I just finished People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I loved it. It's one of those, I was sad to be done with it. I read a lot today. I think I read like 250 pages on the beach today. I finished the last like 20 or so just here in bed. So I actually think I'm going to start. I'm reaching for it, but I don't have the dust jacket on it. It's just a black book. A World of Curiosities by Louise Penny. I think this is number 18. This is the newest installment of the Armand Gamache series. But I'm going to start with this book and then go to sleep. And tomorrow, I only have plans for the morning. So I'm going to go to a on-the-beach church service with a older friend of mine and her husband. They were here like a week before I got here. They're here for 2 weeks, and it just happened that our time here is going to be overlapping. So we're going to go to this church service tomorrow morning, and then they're going to take me to breakfast afterwards. And then the rest of the day, I don't know. I had thought about snorkeling today, didn't end up snorkeling. Basically stayed on the beach to see the sea turtles, like come out onto the beach. I stayed till sunset, and then it's like an hour away, like 50 minutes away from where I'm staying, and so drove back after sunset. I was gonna go to dinner at this place in like nearby where I was in Paya, but I just couldn't get any parking. It's like this little town. Couldn't get any parking, and I decided just to drive back this way and just pick up whatever. So I just ended up at this like little like burger diner kind of thing, read while I ate. So yeah, it was a good day. I got pretty crispy. I can actually see it right now. I got pretty red despite wearing sunblock. When you spend like 10 hours in the sun, even reapplying sunblock isn't going to be totally effective. So anyway, I think that's gonna. Oh, the other thing is, I listened to The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Did I start that yesterday? I think I started it yesterday, and it was good. I don't have really much to say about it. It was good. I enjoyed it. There was it's not like super memorable for me. That's the thing with thrillers. I enjoy them while I'm reading them. But it's not anything that's gonna like super stick with me or anything like that, but it was a good way to spend my time in a car. So the second audiobook I listened to while cruising across the island, again, I was going from like 3 main parts of the island, kind of like northwest, northeast, and then southwest is kind of where I was on the island. Kind of the 3 main like habited places on the island. And so listening to the audiobooks, and I went right from, like, directly from finishing The Guest List by Lucy Foley into Secluded Cabin Sleeps 6. And as I mentioned before, they were just very similar, and Secluded Cabin Sleeps 6 ended up, that is so hard to say. It just ended up being much more memorable for me, I think only because it was the second book of the 2. It was the most recent one. So there are 6 people, there's some like siblings, some friends, group of 6 people go to this secluded cabin in the woods. Right off the bat, we get kind of like creepy vibes from the like owner guy who runs it. So it's like kind of like an Airbnb, like vacation rental kind of situation. And he just seems like way too interested in the people. So you kind of get weird vibes from him, and just kind of like secrets start being revealed. Somebody ends up missing. There's a history. So we get a lot of, it was kind of confusing as an audiobook, I think, the format of the story, because we get these like past flashbacks, and there's so many different people from the very beginning. There's this family, and somebody like mysteriously gifts everybody like the effectively like a 23andMe or Ancestry like test kits. Can't remember what they called it. It's gonna bug me. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, so like they all get this, and nobody is like fessing up as to who gave them. So like, why is it that somebody wants this like genealogy information to be known? So that's kind of happening in the background. So there's lots of like family relationship issues that coming up, husband and wife, friend things, lots of lies and deceit, and it's all kind of happening and coming to a head in this secluded cabin. So I then went on to listen to Nine Perfect Strangers by Lianne Moriarty right after this one. 9 people go away in a single place. So I did like 3 isolated suspense books in a row. Don't recommend if you're trying to differentiate between them. So I enjoyed Secluded Cabin Sleep 6. I will read more Lisa Unger. It just wasn't super sticky, but again, I have this kind of like nice memories of particularly driving on this highway right next to the ocean, listening to certain parts of it. So I can like, just like specific parts of the story, I can place where I was on Maui, in like the views and everything based on what was happening in the story. So Secluded Secluded Cabin Sleeps 6 wasn't super sticky for me, but I enjoyed it. It was a nice audiobook. I do think that it probably would have been easier to understand and keep up with reading it in physical format, though, just because of the kind of like back and forth nature and like how many people there were. It's kind of hard to keep up with that in audio, where it's a lot easier when you can like flip back to it, refer to it, even just seeing the people's name at the beginning of a chapter when you know that that's this perspective that you're listening from. So enjoyable, but not super sticky. Book number 5, and the third audiobook that I started in Maui and then I finished it just after I got home, was 9 Perfect Strangers. Is that what it's called? The word perfect is what's throwing me off. Is it 9 Perfect Strangers? I think it is. Yes, it is 9 Perfect Strangers. But it's making me think of the old like 80s, 90s sitcom called Perfect Strangers. That's the part that keeps throwing me off and making me question, is that what it's called? 9 Perfect Strangers by Lianne Moriarty. So this is again an isolated suspense thriller. We have 9 perfect strangers who all come together at this wellness clinic for, it's supposed to be like this life-changing thing. Like, yeah, weight loss, you're probably gonna lose weight, but it's not about weight loss. It's about becoming a new person. So we have because of the accent, so it's an Australian accent, I couldn't tell, and I was listening to it, not seeing it in print. I don't know if the woman who runs the wellness place, if her name is Marcia or Masha, and that's just the accent, like dropping the R in Masha. So Masha or Marcia. She runs this clinic. She has a few people who work for her, who they interact with the people. They're part of the story, but mostly it's about these 9 perfect strangers who come. Who we have some like individuals. Like Frances was my favorite. She's a romance author, and she is her career is really on the downhill. She goes, weight loss is a big part of what she wants to be there for. We have a young couple who we don't know why at the beginning, but we know that they have a lot of money. She's like an Instagram influencer, and we have a family, a mother, daughter, and their mother and father, and their daughter turns 21 during the course of this story. And then a few other like just individuals to equal 9 perfect strangers. And basically just things get weird. And the Masha is at the end justifies the means type of person, and she is just whatever is going to work to change these people's lives is on the table. They need her. She like basically had escaped death. She had a near-death experience and experienced a lot of personal growth. And so now it is her role in life to Sherpa people to the best version of themselves, whatever means necessary. And so we see this kind of coalescing of the group and just deep dives into everybody's personal lives and history and why they are the way that they are. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It was, I would say, of the 3 of those suspense audiobooks I listened to, it was the stickiest. Maybe because it was the last one, I don't know. But I was definitely way more attached to the characters in Lianne Moriarty's version of the Secluded suspense thriller than I was in the other 2. So, and what's the name of the first the first Lianne Moriarty that they made the HBO series with Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman. I watched that series and really liked that. So I definitely think I will check out more by her. So let me know if you have a favorite Lianne Moriarty. What is it? What do you recommend by her? The final book, the last physical book I picked up and a book I finished after I got home, was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and it came out on my birthday. It was my birthday present to myself, Louise Penny's A World of Curiosities. This is book 18 in the Armand Gamache series. If you haven't started the series, I highly recommend it. Really, really great on audiobook. I've read... There's 18. I would say I've probably read 5 of them in physical form and the rest I've read on audiobook. But this is a series where I will jump into, like, I'll just like see what's on Libby or Hoopla, and if there's one that's available and I need an audiobook to listen to, I will listen to any of these over and over again. I'm terrible at remembering what happens in books. I never remember the endings of books. And so even if I did remember it, I just enjoy being with these characters so much. So if you don't know, this is a kind of like cozy meets literary fiction crime series, mystery series. So Armand Gamache is the head of homicide for the Sûreté, like Montreal Police Department, and it originally, he doesn't live in this town of Three Pines, but eventually he and his wife moved to this small little town called Three Pines. It's not even on the map. It's such a small, secluded place. It's just like this idyllic little town. And we really get to know, kind of like these adorable, lovable characters in Three Pines, and they're always wrapped up in the story. So there's always like the Armand and his family story going on that, continues on throughout the 18 books. And then each book has its own mystery going on. This one in particular, we get basically like the origin story of Jean-Guy Beauvoir and Armand Gamache. And Jean-Guy is his like right-hand man, and we had known a bit about his past and like where he started off from, but we actually get the first case that Jean-Guy gets kind of pulled into, tucked under Armand's wing. And there's a painting that is involved in this one. I love how she will bring in, not only do we have like these past, the Armand Gamache storyline that goes through. Dog's barking. But there will be elements from past books where a character will come back. Whether it's somebody who he needs their expert help on something, or in this case, there's actually a criminal who's in prison who becomes part of the forefront of this story, and this criminal had been involved in a prior book. So, like, just so good. This is probably the most thrillery. Like, I can't think of another Armand Gamache book where I felt like it was a thriller. And this was, like, toward the end, just like fast page turning, what's gonna happen, like on the edge of my seat type of experience. So highly recommend A World of Curiosities in the prior 17 books before you get there. Also, I feel like these covers are just getting more and more beautiful. I think these end pages are actually the same as the last book, or very similar, if not exactly the same. So these 3 lovely books, as well as the 3 audiobooks I listened to, kept me company on my solo trip to Maui. Love to know, have you read any of these authors before, or any of these specific books, or do you have any other? I feel like I just really fell into like suspense, just like fell down this suspense rabbit hole here, just kind of on accident, particularly the audiobooks. Do you have any recommendations by those authors or other authors? Anybody like Emily Henry you think that I should check out now that I've kind of like stepped into the romance, or at least like rom-com genre? Love to know. Have you ever been to Hawaii? If you have, where did you go? What was your favorite part? What's your favorite island? I've only been to Maui. Where should I go next? I definitely wouldn't say no to going to Maui again, but I would certainly be open to checking out the other islands as well. Thank you for watching. See you around the tubes.